Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2014 action thriller comedy The Guest, film I picked up a few months ago and I've never watched before, and I've really wanted to get around to watch it. Well, I have watched it now. It's a film that is directed by Adam Wingard, who directed You're Next, and he's been involved in the VHS movies. And it stars Dan Stevens as David and Micah Monroe as Anna Peterson. Now, this film focuses on Dan Stevens' character David, who basically turns up on the doorstep of a family who have just lost their son. He was in the armed forces and they have lost him in active duty, and obviously they're all trying to get over that terrible loss. And Dan Stevens turns up at their door and says he was an ex-comrade of their son, and he vowed on their son's deathbed kind of thing that he was going to call and make sure they were all okay and stuff. So, as you can imagine, the mother immediately invites him in with open arms. The father has some skepticism, as does the daughter, played by Micah Monroe, Anna. Now David kind of worms his way into this family. You get this sense that there's just something not quite right with him, but he's got this way about him, this charm. He's been able to charm everybody around them. He stops their son from getting bullied at school in quite unique fashion, to say the least. He helps their daughter at a local party. He helps the family in very direct and in some ways very violent ways, and as the days and weeks progress, if you like, he becomes more entwined with the family, and dangerous things start happening more and more around them, and it turns out he may well have some kind of dark secret past. Now, this is a film that I'd always kind of been very, very intrigued of. It's one of those films that went under the radar a little bit. I knew of, but I didn't know an awful lot about it, and the cover of this describes it as the Bourne Identity crossed with the Terminator. Now when you read that, you just think, what does that mean? But when you watch this film, it's actually pretty bang on is that description. You've got this guy David who is so machine-like in some instances, but then just so human and kind on others, and warm and relatable. It's like he's been programmed to say the right things at the right times and do these right things at the right times, and then when he needs to step it up and become violent, he's like the most efficient fighter stroke killer that you've ever seen in your life. So this film has a very unique look, feel and style to it. It feels quite retro. It's got these vibrant colours. It's got a great soundtrack going on throughout it, and it feels different when you watch this film all the way through. It just feels different, and it's fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. There are some instances where there's some quite serious things happen, but it's all done with its tongue firmly in its cheek at times, and Dan Stevens pictures this character David perfectly, with utter charm, and then with cold, sharp violence when it's needed, and with humour, lots of humour as well. There's an undercurrent of humour throughout this film that never kind of steps over the line, but it's there and it's funny at times, this film. So I've got to say, this is quite a deeply unique film, one that I'm really, really glad I've managed to see. It feels different enough but familiar at the same time, and yeah, it's a film that I really, really enjoyed. Like I say, it does have a very, very unique look to it. Lots of fun to watch. You could argue it gets a little bit predictable and generic by the end, and there's not an awful lot of explanations take place, which I found a little bit frustrating. It's clear that he was, part of some like military thing, but it doesn't go into an awful lot of detail as to what it entailed, and how their son was involved and how he knew him really. It would have been nice to have maybe some flashbacks to flesh that out a little bit more, to flesh this character out a little bit more, but maybe that's what the director wanted, an air of mystery to him. But you kind of lose something else there at the same time. When you have this air of mystery, you kind of lose something else too. So it swings and roundabouts, I suppose, but a very, very highly entertaining film. Dan Stevens and Michael Monroe are the standout performers here, but there are others as well, and it is quite a fun film to watch. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Really well made film, something a little bit different, bit retro but unique, great soundtrack, filmed very, very vibrantly as well. So yeah, I would recommend watching The Guest if you've never got around to seeing it. So I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, don't forget to click the like button, and if you're new, please subscribe to the channel, and of course I will see you next time on Screen Stars.